The process that we are going to follow for this is the same as we followed for 3G and 4G, which is to first define what are the requirements, then we'll have an evaluation process of the technologies we can achieve this objective. And once we have selected the technologies, then we finalize the specification that they have to meet. So this process will take until 2020. We also expect that the spectrum to be used for 5G will, by that time, have been identified and defined in the term of what specific band plans are going to be used.
The true commercialized, standardized products and services for 5G really will be coming out to the marketplace in about 2020 and beyond. You'll see a lot of maybe pre-standard announcements by operators and vendors before then, but they will be just that. They'll be highlighting pre-standard deployments and not the big ecosystem that will be built in 2020 and beyond.
What is important is that we get something which is universally agreed, and therefore from that we'll get the economies of scale for a single worldwide market. But clearly there is a trend, as you say, to go quicker and quicker.
As an innovative platform company, we like to facilitate providing more values to our customers. And that's why we are putting a lot of efforts moving towards 5G. And this Open Alliance is one of the efforts that we are making towards evolution towards 5G. What some of the leading operators who like to implement 5G in an early stage, they gather together to come up with interim specification that they can use to implement 5G. We are trying to shape up what 5G can potentially be, and then as we do this, we are very careful not to diverge from the existing 3GPP standardization activities. It's actually the opposite. Given this knowledge and lessons learned, we like to contribute back to 3GPP so that they can facilitate what they're doing there.
We are working with AT&T Docomo, where we have a partnership. We are working with China Mobile. We are working with Deutsche Telecom and Vodafone. We are also working with our US partners like Verizon in order to understand where the technology is. They are all eager to have early trials in the time frame of 2017 and 2018, also due to some sports events. And this will also help us to harden and mature the technology.
We'll start a 15 gigahertz trial with 5G to start gaining an understanding of what millimeter wave and centimeter wave spectrum would be and how it would be used in that 5G environment. In fact, these trials ought to help us as we go forth and build the standards. We'll gain learnings from the trials, and those learnings can be moved right into the work we're doing with standards.
Well, I think it's always good for companies to play with technology as they look at new innovations and so forth, and then use that kind of experience to provide input to the standards process. You know, there are maybe some downsides to the hype that goes around these announcements about test beds and trialing, but the good news is operators will be out there playing with the technologies, with their vendors, and then making inputs into the standards process.
I'm convinced that we will actually do the job, and we will do the job on time. We are very well practiced in delivering this sort of package of work, but it does mean that there will be some very, very busy periods between now and 2020 because there is a lot of work to be done. That work is very meticulously planned, carefully mapped. We have our milestones in place. We know by which points in time we have to make decisions. We then depend on our large membership then to do their community building to make sure that we can actually make those decisions in time.